contract over here, Sam and I.
All right, well, we've started.
We are doing a little bit of a business contract here.
So you go ahead and start the podcast while we finish our transaction.
Oh, we've already started.
Our contracting of the business sorts. You know, Bethan, there's an eyelash on your face.
You want to move it?
Yeah.
I didn't actually say get it off. You can just move it for me, just
Move it to another location. I like keeping an eyelash on my face.
You did you make a wish?
I've made my wish.
Good.
I wish that our transaction would go through.
You can't say what the wish.
Do eyelashes grow
Well,
back?
that's just believing in things.
Well, that's just bad luck
They
on us
better, because
then.
I've lost like 1 million.
Over your lifetime?
Oh.
Yeah.
Or at once?
Oh.
They're just falling
Do
out.
you often lose them?
No.
Fun stuff. Okay.
Sometimes I just have this
Do I have a lot
itch.
of eyelashes or not a lot?
No, just close your eye.
Dylan has some pretty crazy eyelashes.
I'd say you've got you've got a lot of volume going on there.
Yeah,
I
but-
wouldn't
and
say you've
length.
got a lot,
He's
but you've got a lot of volume and length
Yeah.
there.
Mhm.
I see.
Well, his mom has some pretty intense, because she has them like all the way down to here, and one time I thought there was eyelashes in her eye, but I was like, no. And I was like, you have eyelashes in your eye, but this was like my first day talking to her. And she was like, where? And I was like, then I realized
Everywhere.
how wrong I was, and I felt super uncomfortable, so I kept insisting there were eyelashes.
Were those your first words to her? Like, hey, you have eyelashes in your eyes.
Nice to meet you, by the way.
I just remember Bethan coming home one day, and she's like, so Sam sure likes chairs. I was like, oh good, I've made an excellent first impression, per usual.
You have this feeling where you just need to take eyelashes out for your eyelash line?
No.
Because I often just like, I need to take it out.
Oh, yeah.
Look.
I do
Why
that
are you
too.
doing this?
No, and it's just like, they need to come out. They've got.
They just
And then,
kind of pop out.
and then,
really.
and then I go like that, and they come out, and it's like, the feeling's over.
See if I got any
Is
regular.
this something that anyone else experiences?
Well, I do.
Yeah.
I'm not.
I never have the sensation like
it might be
an
turning
eyelash
down, like,
needs to
you're
come
walking
out.
down or something, so you just go like that.
Oh, by the way, Joy is here. That's new.
Oh yeah, we should introduce Joy.
What is the joy?
That one.
Oh.
Yeah.
All right, Joy's been introduced.
Moving swiftly on.
I heard Beauty and the Beast is good.
I heard it wasn't
I
good.
want to see it.
This is the internet in a nutshell.
The entirety of
You
it.
know, I think Sam's the one that probably is the most right here. We should probably just go see it and decide for ourselves.
We could.
I think it's just coming out.
Or
in
I could just
Spanish.
read pointless internet reviews instead. That's
Stop
more
doing that,
fulfilling,
Dylan.
What?
Are we going to go in costume? That's the real question here.
really. I call Belle.
I call Candlestick.
But I called Belle first, because I was Belle from before you were born. Because I was
No.
Belle in the womb.
No,
I
wait.
came.
Dylan was still
So
born
you were
before
Belle
you.
before you were born.
No, but we were in the womb at the same time.
We were.
Not the same one.
We're technically all of us.
No, I never said the
We
same
were
womb.
in a room of
We're-
various
A womb,
wombs.
a room or a
Ver-
womb.
various wombs at various points in time.
Was there a short period of time where all of us may have been in the womb at the same time?
I think so.
Oh.
Because we're
How
all
old are you?
Not
you.
Joy.
the four of us here.
Yeah.
Joy's not a
You're
part of
just
this.
a guest.
I think I was probably conceived sometime in November
Let's
96.
not talk about conception times.
So that's what I figured out. But you were born in
End it
February.
right there.
February, so yes. You were born in April, so
Yeah.
yeah. We were
Yeah.
all
That's kind of
I'm
cool.
gonna say
we're all
January.
womb
Yeah.
people.
Yeah.
Roommates.
Roommates.
We should
That's good.
we should have done a
Whoa.
podcast from the womb.
Ultrasound. We've started this. Welcome to Brunchfast.
Clink it's the things. There we go.
You clip to the audio. All right.
Clink it.
Oh man.
All right. Well.
So art in modern society.
God.
Anyway, so there's
So no one
various
drinks
bells
rum.
in this room. Who's gonna be Gaston?
Well, Christofferson.
No, he's a pure and loving boy. He's
What?
Chip.
He,
Yes, he's Chip. He's Chip.
I think if anything, you're Mrs. Pot.
No, my mum was always Mrs. Potts. Dad was Gaston.
Was this something that was already established?
No, this is a thing. This was a thing from home. When I used to play Beauty and the Beast, and each of my family was a member, I was always Belle, of course. My dad was either Gaston or the Beast. My mum was Mrs. Potts, and Ewan was Chip. We were like the Beauty and the Beast family.
Ewan is a little bit of a chip, isn't he? He just seems like...
And the candlestick burst in.
Oh, I don't know who.
Yes! At what point did he go from being Chip to the French candlestick who tries to seduce sweet brooms all the time?
You know, it's been so long since I've seen it.
Oh, we should watch the
Justice.
animated version before we go see the...
We should.
No.
What?
Sorry,
Is your
guys.
problem with Beauty and the Beast?
Our
Pulling my money
service
around.
to the test.
Oh,
I wanna see
so...
the
a
movie, The
napkin
Fresh
round
Mind.
her neck, shorty.
If I watch the anime one first, I'll probably hate the new one.
But I think... I don't know if we
So
can all
positive
agree,
guy.
We
but
can
my
read
opinion
the story first.
is that the new
I'll
Little
read that.
Mermaid trailer
Grimm's
is
brother.
the worst.
So
What?
I know, I didn't even get through it.
What?
The
What
Little
is?
Mermaid trailer. It
there's
looks
a new Little Mermaid?
really awful.
But I didn't get through the whole trailer because...
Under the sea.
Under the sea.
As long as they get that right.
Everything's better when...
There was some weird section in the trailer with her like being part of a circus or something
Don't think I got that
in
far.
a fish tank.
I remember that from the book.
There was a book.
From the trilogy, The Little Mermaid. Painted my nails this morning, guys. Pretty excited about it.
I thought that was last night.
This was this... You didn't see me on the floor this morning teaching and painting
Oh, that was this morning.
Mm-hmm.
No, that was last night.
That was this morning.
Oh. Oh, I taught last night.
You look like foil.
Thank you. Yeah, I've taken, I've sort of found a way to, just teach on the floor, which is sort of comfortable.
I saw you on the floor, and there was, the chair which was kind of upturned.
Yeah.
I didn't say anything.
And I was,
You didn't want to
painting my
see me.
nails. Well, I was teaching. I couldn't look at you. You're like the forbidden city in China.
You know what always gets the conversation going is Myers-Briggs typology.
Yeah.
So, 18th century nihilism, what do you guys think?
I don't know what that is.
I'm gonna pretend I know. I've seen it. I've never really bothered to look it up though.
What's this about?
It's,
Dylan doesn't know either.
when you don't believe in God because everything is pointless.
Sounds like a fun thing.
In the 18th century.
Right, which makes it a lot more important.
Interesting point you bring up. I was wondering when someone was going to bring up religion.
ENFPs though.
They are just magical rainbows.
Unicorn people.
Yeah, they are unicorns. They're amazing.
Not like Charlie the Unicorn. Like
No.
other kinds of unicorns.
They're like they're kind of like if
What's
you
wrong with Charlie? Charlie's a victim of circumstance.
ENFPs are kind of like if you extracted
How's it going?
everything from the Never-Ending Story,
Are you
Oh,
doing
no.
yourself thoroughly?
but in the best of ways.
What about the Neverending Story 2?
I refuse
talk
to
about
acknowledge
that.
that. ENFPs are like the luck dragon from the Never-Ending Story. They're just amazing.
Why,
What's
though?
that?
Why are they amazing?
I think that there's just something excellent about them. They're good souls.
They are. They're very good souls.
So we have 2 INFPs, 1 ENFP, and 2 INTJs here.
Where's the second INFP?
Right
Oh.
there.
It would be nice to take a picture that represents each podcast.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like this would be 2 mugs clanking together.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Nutella
The
stuffed pancakes.
And I feel like one of
We
my
have so
favorite
many
things is when you cook, you kind of you're sort of led by your nose when you do things. You guys see that Bethan does this, right?
I've never.
And she kind of flutters her eyelashes. And she looks in a book.
Are you just making this all
This
up?
is the thing you do.
Have you noticed this?
I do. Yeah, you do. You
I
kind
think
of.
she kind of does that, not just in cooking.
That would be
I think
great.
it's so sweet though. You're just kind of, it's like you.
Yeah,
Have
it's not
you-
like nose. It's like nose spelled with a Z.
No.
What are you talking about? We may be talking about different things.
You know
I'm
what?
not talking about how to spell nose.
No, but see, the way she uses her nose isn't in a nose with an S kind of way. It's in a nose with
No,
a Z kind
I
of
picture
way.
it written
A
in
Z.
cursive with little purple flowers all around it.
Oh, thank you.
The
You know how I love
Ziwe
puppets. Well.
is more
Because
like
she reminds
a
me of,
pop
like,
rapper
maybe a
gangster.
cute little hedgehog
Yeah.
in the flowers.
No
Called
Z.
nose.
It's
That's
With
why
a
you
Z.
did the little nose.
Like
and-
JT.
That's exactly why I did the
Nosy.
little nose.
That's so
Nosy.
cute. It's the cutest little nose I've seen. You know what I do a lot, and I know, Sam, you haven't talked about it yet, that I come out my room, like, to halfway point in the kitchen, and I just look around, and I'm like, and I'm just in like this, and then I'm like, why am I here? And I go back to my room,
It's true, she does this a
and
lot.
then I come back, and I'm like, ha, that's why.
She sort of like enters and leaves her room a lot in the morning. It's kind of like, you know how in the movie Finding Nemo where they go in and out of the anemone to like get themselves used to electricity or whatever.
Sometimes I've done that in the flat as well. I've gone out, like I've said goodbye to Sam and like, oh, I'm back for something. What's your thing, Joy, that people notice that you do, like in your house?
I don't know. I live alone.
Joy?
I do lay in bed until I hear him come down the stairs here, and then when he goes in the kitchen and starts making coffee, and then I'll get up, because once I get up, then the coffee will be ready.
Joy does this thing where you say something and she just stares at you, but in this way that makes you question everything you've ever said in your life. Special skill. You're doing it again.
You did tell me this once, that you try and line your nose up to things, and ever since you told me that, everything became clear. Because I always wondered what you were doing.
What way?
So you know how you can kind of see your nose?
Mhm.
He tries to like line it up with certain objects.
This makes a lot of sense.
This makes no sense.
This actually
Don't
makes
judge me.
a lot of sense.
So like look at maybe like an object that's parallel, like that column over there, and then just try and like, and you could impersonate Dylan.
I'm having a lot of flashbacks right now. You know how sometimes you make a mental note of something, but you don't know what it is, and you know it's happening, but you're like, you know, I'm sure this will come out eventually, or like, this definitely means something, but like, you don't pay much attention to it, and now I just feel like all these like flashbacks are coming in, and oh,
You're crossing off a bunch of mental notes.
yeah, like, oh, that's what that is.
It explains pretty much everything. What about me?
That's so good.
When Gianni is like, this thing happens where you say something, I don't know how to explain this, like how it comes about. You say a joke that's really dumb, or it's like, you say something that he knows a lot about, and if it's not quite accurate, and he wants to explain it, but he knows that if he goes to explain it, he's committing to 4 hours of explaining. So he kind of does this, like, puts his hands out and looks at you, and like blinks a few times, and then is like, okay, and then walks away.
Give me an example. Do you have an example in?
A mental note somewhere.
I can think of them, but I can't really like think of like all the surrounding details of it. It's just like he's like, oh, okay, and then blinks
He
a few
just does
times.
this thing of like, just joking, like,
Just joking.
just joking, just
Joking.
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 That didn't come out quite right.
I didn't actually. I wasn't finished.
Sometimes he goes,
What
well,
Dad said.
and pushes his glasses out.
No, usually what he does is when he decides to enter into a conversation, he's like, you know. Am I right?
Yeah.
I love how he puts his glasses higher up on,
You know.
and, or he just kind of like adjusts them.
Yeah, just.
It's a very cool way of entering into a conversation.
So guys, we gotta watch Moana.
Yeah, we still haven't done that yet.
Why?
Ciertamente.
Why?
Because I want to.
Okay. See, this is what would happen if you let me control the conversation topics.
Do you want to talk about, like, summarize it?
What?
What is that
We're
word?
gonna talk about summarize.
Oh. You want me to summarize it?
In 50 words, please.
Between 50 and 53, you've got some room there.
Read the first sentence on Wikipedia there, Sam.
Wikipedia. Yeah. So.
Uh,
Existential nihilism is the philosophical theory that life has no intrinsic meaning or value. With respect to the universe, existential nihilism posits that a single human or even the entire human species is insignificant, without purpose, and unlikely to change in the totality of existence. According to the theory, each individual is an isolated being born into the universe, barred from knowing why, yet compelled to invent meaning. The inherent meaninglessness of life is largely explored in the philosophical school of existentialism. So this movement spread through the 1940s in France.
It's existed for a long time.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
because it goes back to Macbeth and all this different kind of stuff, references to it.
Aristotle.
It doesn't have much on that. Let's go back here. Let's find a different article here.
I have an Aristotle book somewhere.
Cool. Is it in English?
Sure.
That's
horror.
how it's. I'm so pretentious. Dylan has to ask. Is it in English?
Well, it could be in Greek. I don't know.
That sums up my life in a nutshell. I have some Aristotle. Is it in English?
I want to see this book.
It's on my. It's digital.
Oh, this is getting less pretentious as we.
So this goes.
It's interlinear though, so that just knocks the pretentious.
It's been part of the Western intellectual tradition since the Renaissance, but it goes quite a bit before that as well.
Dylan has not spoken yet.
He's
What
being a
would he say?
nihilist. He's demonstrating nihilism for us. It doesn't, speaking carries no meaning, as does life. So.
What's the point of believing in that, though?
Nothing.
What value does it hold? What does it give a person?
That's a good question. You would have to ask a nihilist.
Calling all nihilists.
Attention, all nihilists.
Can we have a nihilist for our
I
next
guess
guest?
it gives them freedom
Right.
of
Choice.
There
well,
are
no, of life,
Yeah.
of what their actions and
That's a good
speech.
summary.
Well, I think that people are always looking to free themselves of guilt.
If there's no meaning, there's no consequence.
Mm.
Exactly.
If there's no consequence, then you can do whatever you want.
Because, I think how often do people say, well, I'm sorry you got hurt, instead of actually saying, I'm sorry I was the one who hurt you.
Yeah.
If you're upset about
Yeah.
something. Like, people are always looking for a reason
Yeah.
to just simply not feel bad about something.
Right, and I think, but interestingly enough, ironically, believing in nothing is still believing in something,
Everything is kind of a measure of faith.
or some kind of belief system.
Does it only stem from people being vindictive over idealism, though?
It is often associated with extreme pessimism and a radical skepticism that condemns existence. A true nihilist would believe in nothing, have no loyalties and no purpose other than perhaps an impulse to destroy. Interesting. Sounds like a great thing to be part of.
No.
Sign me up. The thing about it is that I just think that the problem with things like this is that people are so often just looking for a reason that there's
Yeah,
nothing
it's an
wrong
issue.
with them being awful.
Yeah.
What about
I think that's the
This-
problem
yeah,
that I see
definitely.
with it. Well,
So
one
it's
of
like
the
fantasy,
main problems
but
is
without
that
all the fantasy elements, like the supernatural.
But I think it is beneficial in a way. I think it's good to have, because there's people who go to the other end of the spectrum, and are like extreme idealists.
Mhm.
So I tried to get into philosophy, and I didn't.
Why?
I don't know. I think I just started reading Logical Atomism by Bertrand Russell, and I got really bored.
Philosophy is like a pretty wide subject there.
It's
You
true.
can probably find something interesting.
It's true, yeah. But most of it seems pretty. I don't know. Like, could you give me? I know you could, but what reason would you give me to read some philosophy?
You're already a philosopher.
Yeah, everyone's a philosopher. They have their own belief system.
Are you curious?
About?
Life?
Yeah.
Then there you go.
I think I read some stuff about Bertrand Russell, and I don't remember his name. The one who thought that that nothing actually existed, it was just perceived. Or no, nothing existed until it was perceived. Oh man, I forget his name. The name of the belief system is named after him.
I think
You know
perception.
something cool I learned the other day? The word platonic comes from Plato.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
I think perception is such an interesting concept in itself because I think that's something you could just discuss
Oh
so
yeah.
endlessly.
Are any of us able to really see, are any of us able to perceive reality as it is?
Well, even colors themselves how I think everyone's really seeing something just always slightly different, or maybe even vastly different than someone else's. I just think you can't really say anything physical is or isn't, in a way.
We just all agree that some things, we all tend to perceive some things similarly, so we just agree that that's how they are. Interesting.
Because I also think, like, everything through your life, or just even the basic kind of core person you were born as, affects how you translate the world for yourself. And then how you translate what you're thinking and feeling back out into the world.
So do you believe there is an objective reality that exists, even if none of us can perceive it?
Maybe in a very concrete level.
I forget the guy's name once again, but he also later in his life became religious, and kind of he used to be atheist and used his theory to, back up his atheism, and then later managed to flip the theory around and apply it to a god, of course.
Humans.
Yeah, probably completely invalidating the theory in the first place, but he claimed that everything did exist because it was all perceived at every second by God.
I guess the thing is, I think that you can have someone who creates something. Like, if I create a painting, technically you can say that whatever I was trying to communicate through the painting, or even through a poem if I had written it, if it was like very
But you never know 100% what you were trying to communicate.
My point is that I may communicate one thing, but someone else may read something completely different off of whatever my painting or poem makes them feel. I feel that their feelings are still valid. And that's just a perception of that poem. So technically you could say whatever I was trying to convey was the true meaning to it, but at the same time...
That's art now.
We're talking about ideas.
Well, how do you feel about authorial intent? When you read a book, do you think it's important to know what the author intended?
I think that it's interesting to know what the author intended, but I don't think it's necessarily the most important thing.
It's situational. It's I guess, like, if Gianni wrote a book, I would want to know...
Someday, guys. Someday I'm going to finish my book.
You will. I would know why he came up with that. Because obviously Gianni matters to me. So it's again, like, the person and the place they hold in your
The funny thing is some authors don't even know. Don't have an intent. Like, when I go to write something, it's usually 50% something I intended and 50% stuff that went with, like, sounded like it went with the theme with no intent. So someone else is going to maybe listen to a song that I wrote and...
Right, sometimes you just have an idea.
Right.
There's not an intention behind the idea. You just write the idea.
I think that's beautiful.
Yeah.
Like, I want to give people something they can interpret and apply to their lives.
That's the thing. Maybe, like, the artist has an interpretation or an objective,
I wish.
but they might not know it
What?
themselves. Right?
Right, yeah.
When, like, Van Gogh drew, like, Starry Night or whatever, like, did he know? Did he know, like, what his art was going to do, or, like, what it was intended to make people think, or, like, how it was going to, impact society? He probably wasn't thinking that. He probably just drew a picture.
Like,
Well, it's like, how
no.
would it be
Stop
all
for
over
1 second.
Pinterest?
I want to frame that sentence and put it on my wall. When Van Gogh drew Starry Night or whatever.
Painted, whatever you want to call it.
Well, it's like, the thing I always wonder is why are some things superior or less superior to others? I find that
You
people...
mean inferior? Sorry.
No, that's absolutely correct.
I shouldn't have corrected you.
Less superior is synonymous.
But let her finish the
inferior.
Because I just think that the Mona Lisa is an incredible painting, and it's an incredible painting, but what makes it one of the greatest paintings?
The history.
Yeah, the history is great, but I just mean that there's
That's why. It's famous because of art historians, not because of the actual painting techniques. Though the painting techniques are impressive for the Mona Lisa.
I mean, especially the
It's the
veil
history
over
behind
her
it.
face. The fact that there's a veil over her face.
Right. Exactly.
I think Sam's reading less into the technical aspects of the painting.
No, but that's just why
My
it's
point
generally
is
considered
that-
to be famous.
Yeah, but my
Not why I consider it great. I'm just saying generally the conception of the Mona Lisa is that there's very like ambiguous meaning behind it. Like no one knows what's going on. And there's always things like being found out about it through centuries. Like, and that's kind of why it's famous.
my point is that
Someone didn't look at the Mona Lisa and was like, "This is a beautiful painting. I shall hang this in the White House."
Okay, I want
Hangs
to
in
frame
the White
that
House.
too. Mona Lisa in the White House.
Hmm?
I mean, because originally, like when it was found, it was just hanging over a king's toilet.
Okay.
A worker stole it, and like it's kind
Right.
of how we found out about it. But
Right.
Can like, I wonder if anyone like will ever just like if I just draw a stick figure and hang it over my toilet someday, some art historian will come
Someday.
along.
Right.
We've got to die first, though.
Thanks.